Hi everyone, and welcome back to Creative Chelsea. If you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up or commenting below. If you want to see more of my videos, press the subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products to make this card, you can visit my online store and the link is in the description box below. When you purchase Stampin' Up! Products through me, you can earn free products. Check out my current customer appreciation products on my blog, and the link is listed below in the description box. Today I'd like to share with you another one of my Artisan January 2021 showcase projects. So the idea behind this card was that I wanted to focus on some of the designer series paper that you can receive for free from January through February of 2021 during Sale-a-bration. And so this paper you can get for free with a $50 order, and that information is also found in the description box. So the paper I am using for my card today is the Paper Blooms Designer Series paper. And I wanted to just show you what the patterns are. So you get these 6 patterns, and then they are double-sided. And so you do get to now see the pretty flower patterns that I'm using for my card. And so you get 2 of each sheet, and these are the 2 pieces of paper that I'm using today for my card. And what I've done is fussy cut out some of these flower images from both. So we have smaller images and then larger ones, and then we're arranging them on our card today. So we're again really focusing on using that paper. And then after I'm done making the card, I'll give you some ideas on how you could use the same layout using some different products as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's talk quickly just about some of the basic cardstock that you need. So I have a piece of basic white thick cardstock for my card base, and it's been cut to 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches and scored at 4 1/4. And then I have 2 pieces of cardstock. One is in basic white and one is in So Saffron. Now the So Saffron piece is cut to 3.5 inches by 5 inches, and then the basic white piece is 1/8 of an inch smaller than this. So it would be 3 3/8 inches by 4 7/8 inches. Then I have one of the pieces from the Forever Gold laser cut specialty paper. So this paper is really fun, and I just wanted to give you a quick idea of what it looks like. When you purchase this, you get 3 of each of these sheets. So one sheet is these background images that I'm going to show you, and then the other sheet are these die cuts. So they're laser cut die cuts, and you get some different leaves and then some like labels and a wreath. And so it's a really fun pack of die cuts to use. And today I just wanted to share with you the backgrounds. And so you're going to get 6 different styles, and then remember you get 3 of each. So they're all really fun, and the other great thing about them is that you can use the back side as well, which is just white. So if you're wanting more of that white look instead of gold, it's really versatile. So today we're going to be using this pattern here for our card. And then you will need a piece of Night of Navy cardstock, and it's 1 inch by 2 inches, and we're going to stamp our greeting on that. So let's go ahead and do that first. This is the only stamping we have on our card, and I am using the In Blooms stamp set. Now this stamp set does coordinate really nicely with the designer series paper, and so that's why I'm using it, but you don't have to. So if you don't have this, you could use any greeting here for the center of your focal point. I'm going to use the same one, which is You Mean So Much to Me. And we are heat embossing this with some white embossing powder. And so I'm going to add some embossing buddy here to my cardstock. And that's just going to remove any sticky places or fingerprints so that my white powder doesn't stick to anything except for the stamp. Then I've inked it up in Versamark, and I'm just going to stamp that right in the center. And then I'm going to take my white embossing powder and cover that and then shake it off. And then I'm heating that with my heat tool. So you may have noticed that I have a little bit of that powder on my dark cardstock, and it's kind of not making it very bright. So what you can do is just take an eraser, and I just have a really gentle eraser here, so nothing really strong, and you're just going to erase, and it removes that powder from the cardstock. So again, just be really gentle. You don't want to ruin your white embossing that you made. And now you can see that it's nice and dark again. So once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and take a pair of paper snips, and I'm going to flag the ends of both sides. And I want a really shallow banner on each end. So I've just cut maybe 1/8 of an inch slit in the center, and then I'm going from each corner to the top of that slit. So just really shallow, barely noticeable. And then again on the other side. And you could go deeper if you wanted here. I just wanted it not to be a rectangle, just to give it a little bit of interest. And so you're going to have something that will look like that. So let's go ahead and begin by layering our white cardstock onto our So Saffron. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back and place that right in the center. So there's just going to be a slight border since we're just 1/8 of an inch larger. So you're kind of going to have about 1/16 of an inch all the way around. So just eyeball that. And then let's add our gold laser cut piece. And to do this, I'm going to use a silicone mat, and that's going to protect my work surface. And I'm using liquid glue. And I have a tissue nearby. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of glue to a corner of my silicone mat, and I don't need a lot. And then you can either take a tissue. If you wanted, you could also use a like a sponge or something. And I'm just adding some adhesive to the corners and a little bit to the center. Now it's really important that you don't move the gold paper, or you're going to get the adhesive on the front as well. And then this also goes right in the center, and it should have a small border just like the one below it. And then you can just lay that right down. If you do get a little bit of adhesive showing, you can use an adhesive remover, or even maybe an eraser like we did before, just to kind of pick up that glue. So I had a little bit come out over here on this side, and I'm just going to kind of pull it off with this eraser here. And this is just a white eraser. I don't really know what it's called. So that's how I place these laser cut papers onto my cards. So let's just add this now to my card base. And you could add this with some dimensionals if you want, or just flat on your card. I'm just going to go ahead and do it flat on my card. And then that just goes in the center. So the next step is going to be finding the flowers that you want to add to your card and doing a quick bubble cut, something like this, around each one. And then we're going to fussy cut them out. And what I've done before I started my video was exactly that. I have about 15 different images here, some small, some large, some flowers and some leaves. And I went ahead and did a quick bubble cut around the paper just to kind of bring it away from that larger piece. And then I went ahead and did a fussy cut around them. Now you'll notice that this particular piece was one on the edge. And so you can use those images that are right up against the edge. You're just going to tuck those underneath something else. And so that's what I'll do with this one, is I'll tuck it in underneath my greeting. Now, a quick tip about fussy cutting is you want to move the paper and not your scissors. So you'll notice here that I'm bringing the paper around and through my scissors as I'm cutting the paper. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. And if you're new to fussy cutting, then it probably will take you a little bit of time to be comfortable with it. And you can see that I'm going nice and slowly around the image. And these bigger images are definitely easier to cut than some of these more intricate pieces. Now, I just wanted to point out here that this piece was also one that was against the edge. And if I show you the original card, you can see here that that is the same type of leaf, but the top was cut off and I didn't want to waste it. And so I just removed this top part that was partially cut to make it look more natural. And so it wasn't like missing a piece. And that's another fun thing about these shapes is they're very organic. So if you need to trim them down a little bit because they're cut off on an edge, similar with this one. So this was the edge of the paper and I just trimmed around it and then I'll just tuck that underneath. So don't throw away those edge pieces. You can still utilize them with your card. Okay, so now is the fun part. So you're just going to start to layer your pieces onto your card. And you want to start with the larger pieces first. And so I'm kind of sticking with the same idea here. And I'm just going to start with let's start with these 3 big pieces. And because I want to be able to tuck things underneath, I'm just going to use a minimal amount of glue. And so I'm just going to stick with a glue dot in the center for each image. And also make sure that you don't go too far beyond your card base so that your card will fit in an envelope. Let's see, I'm going to rotate that one just slightly. Okay, and then what you can do is place your greeting down, and I'm going to add that with some dimensionals just right in the center. So I'm just going to take a big dimensional and place that there. And now I have a place where I can start to tuck other images in and around my card. Okay. So that's kind of the first step. And now we can start to add some of these other ones. So I'm going to start with this green one. So this is still in the background. So it's still kind of a larger piece, so it's kind of more medium, I guess. Tuck that in over here on the left. And then maybe this one is medium sized. And just kind of tuck that in over here. Actually, I think I'm going to have that one go underneath the blue. So just gently, if you're going to remove something, which kind of happens when you're arranging, just kind of be very gentle with it so that you don't tear your paper. I tore it just slightly, but I can fix that by adding something over that. So I just want to be able to have that peek out underneath that blue one. And that's again why we're just using one little glue dot so that we can kind of tuck things in and under. Let's go ahead and add this one, and we'll add it over that dot. This is a small thin piece, and so I'm going to place the glue dot actually at the base, and then that will get tucked underneath the greeting. Okay, so it's going to look something like that. Then we can add some more of these pieces. Let's do this little blue one. Kind of gets tucked underneath the large pink one. Oh. Up here in the corner. And then So it doesn't have to look exactly like mine. So if you're liking the colors and images to be different, then go ahead and do what you like. This is your card. And then this fun little berry image, I'm going to place right here between these two. And it's going to go a little bit different than my original one because it's a little shorter. Let's kind of stick. So this one kind of comes from underneath just a little bit. I think I'm going to just go ahead and separate these two just so I don't have to push it down so far. So I'm just cutting off the bottom two pieces, and then I'm going to add a glue dot to the base. And then I can tuck that in, and it will be just a little bit easier to position. So just a little bit of color coming out there behind the flower. I've got this little guy here, maybe placing them on that side. If you do have any glue dots or a part of that glue dot that is showing, just go ahead and roll it underneath your piece, and we'll just add it right there. And then I did have a little leaf here that I wanted to add, maybe behind this one, just to add a little color between those two pinks. I think it's okay without it. Okay. And so now I'm going to add these little, I think they're petal pink is the color, flowers. And you'll notice here that this one's a little bit rounded in a smaller shape. And that's because on the paper, they're all connected. So I had to kind of make that shape up. And so you can go ahead, we can tuck that under if we want, so that that piece is hidden. And I am going to place these with some dimensionals just to give it a little bit more interest. These are kind of the very top layer. So I'm going to tuck this one under right around there, and then do another one. Let's do the large one over here in this corner. Just going to rotate it so that weird, so they all have a little bit of a weird shape petal, and so that one's kind of poking away so that the focus that's around the greeting isn't distracting that shape. And then this last one we can put up near the top. Right around there. Okay. So if you do want to kind of support your greeting with a little more dimensionals, you can just lift that up and stick that underneath on a couple of those sides. And that will just support it after we have all of our other pieces where we want them. Okay. Okay, so that card is all done. So now I'd like to give you some ideas on other ways you can create this card if you by chance don't have the paper Blooms Designer Series paper, because that is only available until the end of February. So another option would be to use the pierced Blooms dies. And so this is, again, a coordinating product. It does coordinate with the Designer Series paper, but you can see that it comes with all these fun shapes and flowers that are very similar to the flowers that are on the paper, as well as some really great leaf images. And you also have these little circles that go on the inside, or you could cut out some small flowers. And so that's a really great option too. And you can create this card in any color combo that you want because of those dies. And then look, you even have a fun label that you could use for your greeting. All right, and another option is you could use the In Bloom stamp set. And so here you have similar looking flowers. They kind of have that organic feeling. You can layer these smaller images inside the flowers to give them more detail, and then fussy cut them out, and you could create a similar card using that stamp set as well. So I hope you enjoyed watching me create this card today. If you'd like to get written instructions or see close-up images of this card, you can visit my blog, creativechelsea.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.